Salutations, every pup, and welcome to Chapter 12 of The Boy Who Kept Dying by NinjaPandaScholar. As always, the link to the fic will be in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's jump on into it. Chapter 12 Death Teaches a Class. The next DADA class was even more gossip-worthy than the first one of the semester. The sixth year's Gryffindors and Slytherins sat down for a lecture class, with a serious-looking professor at the chalkboard. Welcome, class. Today I want to talk with you about classifications in our world of creatures and magic. Can anyone tell me what classifies magic as dark or light? Hermione, of course, raised her hands. Yes, Miss Granger. Light magic pulls on nature or the elements, but dark magic deals with ritual, blood, soul, or mind magics. Very good. 5 points to Gryffindor. Professor Osiris smiled kindly, which didn't cause Hermione to beam as she normally would. Now that we know the classifications, I would like to start talking about a very powerful dark creature. This dark creature deals in souls, similar to the magic that Dementors draw on, and though they use it differently. Would anyone like to guess which creature I'm talking about? Blaze the Zabini raised his hand. Bogart, sir. Wonderful guess, Mr. Zabini. You are right. Bogarts do use soul magic, though many believe them to use mind magic and are mistaken in that. 5 points to Slytherin. However, that is not the creature we are discussing. This creature is much more powerful than a Bogart. This is the creature. Death waved his hand over the chalkboard and a cartoon-style image of Hedwig appeared. Sir, that's an owl, Hermione tentatively said, as several others sniggered behind their hands throughout the room. That's correct, Miss Granger. Death smiled at her. Owls use soul magic to identify and track those they deliver letters to. How do you think an owl can find someone when we constantly are moving and traveling? Let's look at a light creature next to help you see my point. Death waved his hand once more, and another cartoon-style image of a basilisk appeared on the chalkboard beside the owl. Magical snakes use solely light magic of nature to interact with the world around them. The basilisk uses magic from the earth and the air almost exclusively. Harry raised his hand. So, you're saying the classifications are crap? He asked his friend with an amused smile, already having had this lecture before many times over the years. That's exactly what I'm saying, Harry. Death returned the smile. Classifications change and are based on many arbitrary rules. Mostly, it seems that creatures are labeled dark if the person doing the labeling is scared of them, and light if that person thinks they are cute. Where creatures are concerned, I would like us all to face our misconceptions this year and learn the abilities and traits of the creatures we study instead of their classification. Knowing that a creature uses light magic will not save you if the basilisk is staring you in the eyes. Spells are different though, right? Ron spoke up, actually interested in the class lesson, surprisingly. Dark spells are dark for a reason. Thank you for the transition, Mr. Weasley. Death laughed. Our next subject is definitely spells. Can anyone tell me a dark spell that could kill someone? Hermione's hand shot up again. The killing curse, she stated. Of course, Miss Granger, Death agreed. The Avada Kedavra is a dark spell that can kill a person. Can someone tell me a light spell that could kill someone? The class was quiet for several seconds before Harry raised a hand, remembering a story Death had told him once that was definitely not appropriate as a kid's bedtime story. Yes, Harry. Stricta vivera, Harry smirked, a little gruesomely. The wrinkle-removing spell? Pansy Parkinson snorted from behind Harry. Yes, Harry. Miss Parkinson, he is actually correct. Though the wrinkle-removing spell works wonders on your clothes, you do realize that your intestines are folded over each other within you in many, many folds. If they were all suddenly straightened out at once, well, it would be a horrible way to die. Much worse than Avada Kedavra, Death explained, with a sideways glance to Harry, who actually knew Avada Kedavra wasn't really a good way to go, no matter what anyone said. What I will be teaching you this semester is defense against intent, not just against dark spells. Even light spells with enough power and intent behind them can maim and kill. Just because a spell is light, like Scorgify, doesn't mean it can't harm you. A powerful enough Scorgify can skin you alive, and just because a spell is dark doesn't mean it's dangerous. For instance, there is a blood magic spell that helps plants to grow faster and stronger. That is all it will do. It cannot maim, kill, or affect anything besides the plant it is cast on. If this spell had been used in your second year on the mandrakes, those who were petrified would have been healed from their statue state in a fraction of the time. We are at war, and I feel it is important for you all to know how to defend yourselves against others, no matter what kind of spells they are using. So, you are saying that the spell itself, or the type of magic, isn't evil by nature, but the intent behind it is what makes it dangerous or not? Harry asked, knowing this was something Death cared a lot about, especially that they were not being taught this at Hogwarts. Exactly, Harry, Death agreed. Witches and wizards have magic that leans towards either light or dark by the nature of their magical core. They can use all kinds of magic, but they will find either light spells or dark spells easier. So a light wizard would need stronger intent and more magic to make a dark spell work for them, even though it is possible. As an example, Dumbledore is one of the most powerful light wizards of our day. He has enough power, and with the intent, he could easily kill someone with the Scorgify spell. It'd be harder, not impossible, but harder for Dumbledore to kill someone with Avada Kedavra. Malfoy snorted. So, you're saying it'd be easier for the headmaster to kill someone with the cleaning charm than with the killing curse? As a light wizard, yes, Death nodded. Now, I have a talent that I've developed over the years where I can see the leanings of a person's magic. As you are all 6 years, and we are in a war, I will always be upfront with you about spells that will work better for you than others. Death paused for emphasis and crossed his arms. For instance, you probably will all be unsurprised to learn that Miss Granger here is a very light witch. Death nodded at Hermione, and no one looked particularly surprised. Also, unsurprisingly, as her family has historically been dark, Miss Parkinson is a dark witch. Pansy smirked at those around her, and Navini just rolled his eyes. I would wager your owl is very loyal to you, Miss Parkinson. She's my best friend, Pansy agreed with the professor. No, to be frank, there are some of you that are less stereotypical in this class. For you, I would suggest talking with your family or an advisor about approaches to magic to best use your natural tendencies to your advantage. Unfortunately, we do not teach dark magic at Hogwarts, but there are approaches that you can use to help boost your magic and intent with light spells if you are dark. So, a couple of you that should probably consider this. Mr. Malfoy, you are a light wizard. Draco Malfoy paled and stuttered in denial. You are, and I would suggest maybe reaching out to Professor Flitwick as a powerful light wizard and world-class dueling champion as one to give you pointers. The spells you learned as a child in your dark family will never be as powerful as light spells could be for you. The Slytherins in the room looked over at Malfoy in confusion, as Harry smiled from behind his hand and quietly snickered. Also, the professor continued, Mr. Longbottom, you are a dark wizard. I doubt you will have learned the necessary approaches to take for light magic in your family for one who is working against his natural talents. If you ever want to succeed in charms or transfigurations, I recommend getting help from another dark wizard like Miss Parkinson, or Mr. Filch is a strong dark wizard here at the school. Filch is a squib, Theodore Knott laughed, with several others joining in. I think you need to work on that talent of yours. Death glared at Knott, making him abruptly stop laughing, almost choking off the sound. Mr. Knott, I think you are the one misinformed. The house elves here at Hogwarts only work in the kitchens and the dorms. Mr. Filch is the caretaker for the entire rest of this enormous castle and has a powerful, dark familiar in Mrs. Norris. There is no way one man without magic can care for this entire castle, inside and out, cleaning, repairing, updating, and preserving without constantly using magic. I don't know how the squib rumor got started, but I would wager Mr. Filch encourages the rumor as it helps to have you students underestimate a person sometimes. So, I may have just outed him, but he would be a good one to talk to about using your dark core most effectively in a light environment. What about you, Professor? Ron asked, but still seemingly stunned about Filch, though genuinely interested in the professor. I'm dark, the professor said simply. I, however, and not a good one to teach to you to use light magic more effectively, as it is something I have less experience with. So, you're saying you actually use dark magic? Malfoy said through narrowed eyes. Indeed, but the administration will not let me teach that to you at this school, so we will be staying on the light side. Though I disagree with this policy. Death sighed. Well, I think there's one question that we'd all like to know the answer to. Malfoy spoke up again, pompously. What is Harry Potter? Death smiled at Malfoy, knowing this question would be coming and having already talked it over with Harry. Oh, Harry is dark, Death said nonchalantly with a dismissive wave of his hand before smiling at him again as if having a thought. I think that your father would be very interested to know that his son is a light wizard and the boy who lived is dark. Does it break down some of the normal misconceptions and prejudices? Right? No, they all have thought I'm a dog multiple times, and they always equate it with evil. Harry laughed. I can assure you are all more in danger of Malfoy trying to skulkify you all to death than of anything I would do, though. Well said. 5 points to Gryffindor. Death smiled with a chuckle. Now, for homework. I would like 3 feet on what you believe your magic core to be, and your advantages and disadvantages in a duel with the light wizard using the intent to kill, and one with the dark wizard also using the intent to kill. The students all began packing up and looking more dazed than usual at the end of the class. Mr. Longbottom, if you would give me a minute, the professor called as the rest of the students started leaving, though Harry was slowly packing his bag in order to hang back. Professor, is that true? Is my magic dark? Neville asked as Death sat on the desk in front of the concerned-looking student. Yes, Mr. Longbottom, Death said with a kind and sympathetic look on his face, usually only used when someone died most unexpectedly. He was still working on the human emotions thing. You are a powerful wizard, but I'd wager no one is helping you meet your potential here with Hogwarts' prejudice towards solely light magic. Your family may be able to help. I seem to remember your great-grandmother was a dark witch. I never heard that, Neville said, looking slightly more reassured that a member of his family also had a dark core. I hear you have a talent for herbology. Neville finally had a smile across his face. Yes, sir. I love herbology. Then you didn't get this from me, Death said, taking an ancient book from a pocket in his robes. The title across the front said, The Dark Gardener, in large gold letters. Judging by its age, the book was probably worth its weight in galleons. Neville looked at the book as if he was afraid of it. There are no evil spells in there, Death assured him. I'm sure you could do with some damage with your intent using a few of them, but nothing is inherently evil about what is in that book. Neville smiled again. Thank you, sir, he said as he put the book in his bag and left the classroom. That was very nice of you, Harry said, sitting on Death's desk at the front of the room. Death propped his feet up on the desk beside Harry. I've had countless professors complain about that boy's spellwork ability, but not a single one of them have tried to help him connect to light magic more easily. He's a powerful wizard, but the school is failing him. Filch is going to be so mad at you, Harry laughed. I can guarantee it's going to spread across the school by lunch. Death scowled. This is a war, and he's a powerful wizard. If the castle is attacked, he'd best be planning to help protect the students, or he's going on my list. Sure enough, on his way to lunch, Harry passed a grumbling caretaker growling to himself about meddling DADA professors and interfering Death Eater kids who wouldn't know dark magic if it bit them. Harry just laughed as he rushed forward to join Ron and Hermione in the Great Hall. And that's a wrap on Chapter 12. I hope you all enjoyed. This chapter was so much fun. I'm so happy that the year is more spread out now, because like years 1 through 5 it was just a chapter a year, and now year 6 I guess it's like more focused because we actually have Death like being a main character. Sorry about that. We actually have Death being like a main character, and so we have more scenes with him, so more focus on him, so we can spread out the school year and talk more about it. Not we, I'm not writing this. It's written by NinjaPandaScholar. Which, by the way, you should go show the original author, NinjaPandaScholar, some love. And please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. They make me so happy. Please leave me specifically hate comments and I'll shout you out in the next video. That being said, shout outs to nobody! Because nobody left a hate comment as of the time I'm recording this. If you do happen to leave a hate comment and it's after I recorded this, well, sorry. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, pups!